My name is Emokor Eric. I'm basically a scriptwriter and an actor, but I do directing also at times.
So what was your role in Take Me shoot?
In Take Me, the current project running right now, I played the lead role of Chris. I was Chris in Take Me, and I liked the way I pulled out myself in that role or in the project itself.
Who is Chris?
Chris is this guy who is being provoked or who is tempted by his brother Steve to join this thuggery kind of thefty life, you know, living in the streets and not living in the street. They lost their parents and they are trying to live in a certain room, but they have no source of income. The only way to get that money is to go on street to start stealing bags, breaking through people's houses, of which that was the basic job for Steve. But I, Chris, as a character, I decided to remain holy and humble in my ways of living, of which I never wanted to go into Steve's life.
What was your best scene or the most challenging scene for you? Why?
Well, that was a good question. The most challenging scene I've experienced, and I've never done it. It takes me long to go to church. So far, if I could recall, I last went to church something like 6 months back. Well, I found myself so much, and I didn't know how I pulled out the church scene where I had to instruct the dancers. I just, the day before and even the time when we were going for the shoot, I didn't have any dance tips in me. But when I entered church, I just found myself bringing out all the dances, and we had to choreograph them within the shortest period of time, and the camera had to roll, and the director just gave me a great mark for that scene. And I have to know, I still don't believe myself that I pulled it.
This role was given to you within a very short time. What experience or what have you learned from this experience?
Well, this project was shot in okay, let me say the whole project basically rehearsals and the shooting ran for a week, and we had a day by day hard work. Yeah, what I gained from it so much is that I had to express out myself. I had to really pull it out myself to show that I can do this role. And good enough is that I worked with one of the best actor mentor, that is Daniel Setava, who happened to be the director of the same project. He is a really good guy, and he mentored me. He told me what to do good. He told me not to do anything wrong, and I was on point. I stayed on point. I made sure that I pleased him at every move that he wanted, and that's what I also looked up to, and I made sure I met it.
What was the best thrill that you feel like?
Pardon?
What was the best scene that you feel like you want to do it again?
Basically, I would like to do again the church scene. I would like to do it again and again and again, because I loved it. I loved the way I sweated all my body, and how my dancers really felt the movement. And I never instructed any dancers, but I felt so much happy doing that because it was so awesome. I called up for Jesus, something I do once in a while, but I really called Jesus so much in that dances, and I loved the way I became next to God at that so much.
What was the most scaring scene of all the films?
Oh, often the street scenes are a headache to me. I'm not a fan of street scenes because at times, in the first take you are like nervous, and then you get calm and get used to it. But I hate it when people start mocking you up, and people start kind of throwing back at you that you can't. Film industry is nothing. Being in film is nothing. That you're just wasting time. Blah, blah, blah. All those blah stuff I don't like. That same point.
What message do you give to other actors, film writers, and all the people in the film industry?
Well, basically, as with filmmakers, we tend to, it's good to specify a category you can work with. Like if you want to be a scriptwriter, well, it's good to be a scriptwriter, but our industry is still growing up. Our industry is still growing, so you don't have to specify yourself at this moment. If you're a writer and you can act, do it. So you can write when you go back home, get a pen or sit on your PC and start writing, do whatever you have to do. During that time, if you have a role to act, please go and act. I do write. I have directed a feature film, I myself, and 3 short films, of which I know I can do it because people have showed love for my films I've done so far. But I do acting also. I go out and act, and I don't want to put myself so high that no one can give me direction on set. I'm a down-to-earth person for anything that has to be taken in as a director needs it on set. Basically, I don't want to show up myself, and that's what I call upon everyone out there in the Ugandan film industry. Basically, that's the industry I've been in for quite long, and for the years I've been in, I call upon everyone to take up that opportunity to really praise up our industry in all categories that we need. I call you.
What do you do if you are not filming or acting?
Basically, my profession, I studied a diploma in civil engineering, but because I'm in love with film and film is my passion, I had to put it aside and I go into it once in a while. But if there's any film project to do, I concentrate much onto film and bring in the civil engineering later, because it's another option later, possibly because that was education, but this is talent and passion I have in me. Yeah.
How do you see yourself in 5 years?
I promise myself not one time, that is in 2020, to meet James Cameron. That is my dream. At least to meet and shake hands with James Cameron. If James Cameron is out there watching me, the director of Avatar, I want to meet him and tell him that I would have directed Avatar much better than he did. Yeah, basically that is it. And I want to be one guy who has lifted the Uganda film industry and brought it to the level that we see Nollywood also standing, and Uganda film industry also would stand at the same level with Nollywood, or Hollywood, sorry.
And the last question, what has been your relationship with the Tutwi crew and the rest of the people you've been working with for the last project?
In Take Me?
Yep.
I thank Tutwi crew for organizing such a wonderful shoot, because I've never been on a set that was so organized like that, where we could have reflectors, we could have the security at hand. We basically had a cooperative group, and I loved it. Basically, it's my first time to work with Tutwi, and I promise to work with them on any other project that they bring up next. I will give on myself and work with them so much. And I thank MK Cypher Films. They came up and basically the director awarded me with this t-shirt for performing well in Take Me, and I thank him so.
If you are not a filmmaker?
If I wasn't a filmmaker in my life, I'd love to be a reverend. That's what my dad wanted me to be, and that's what I also wanted to be, but I found myself doing a profession of civil engineering and basically now coming into film. But I was going to be a reverend.